a lot of people throw those terms out, conscious, woke, you know, but
Yeah.
what does it actually take to be conscious?
To be conscious, you gotta be balanced within yourself. First of all, you gotta find balance on who you are as a person. That means looking in within the camera, if you're looking inside of the mirror, looking at yourself and seeing who you are as a person before that. Because you have to balance yourself first. You have to balance yourself in all aspects of your life. You can't just wake up one morning and say, I'm woke because I know a little bit more information. The more you know, the more you actually know nothing.
Right.
You gotta understand, like
Erykah Badu says, the man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all.
Exactly.
And that's a truth that so many people are lacking in understanding of. Just because you acquire more knowledge doesn't mean that you acquire more superiority. Knowledge is power.
It starts with health.
Yeah.
Getting your body healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That feeds your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with planting your seeds, because a lot of people don't understand that their brain is a garden.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to start with your brain as a garden. So the words you choose to think about, the words you choose to use that you
seeds.
put out,
Absolutely.
those are all seeds. No matter what you do in life, you're growing seeds. So if you say, I am this, you start becoming exactly what you said that you are.
That's right.
And you might not understand it at the moment. I run across a lot of people like, oh man, my bills are behind, and you know, nobody's giving me anything, or I don't know where to go. Well, that's a whole lot to do with how you think.
Right.
So when somebody says same shit, different day,
right,
you gotta look at it as, okay, then change your diet.
Change your diet. And
change your diet of what you eating in that brain of yours.
What you eating in
and
that brain.
How you thinking.
And I'm glad you put that description on the end, because so many people hear change your diet and they immediately go to physical. They think that it's a physical food, but it's a mental food, it's a spiritual food. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a food to your personality. You know, what you feed yourself ultimately is what you become. And what you feed your mind is what you put out. So, you know, there's an old proverb that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your words will betray you. No matter what you say, you are to people.
Absolutely.
Your words are what's going to really divulge to people the information they need to know about you, because they're going to see
which will build
that this is how you really think.
Which will raise your frequencies or lower them.
You're right, exactly.
It can lower your frequencies, or it can put you in a higher frequency.
Absolutely.
And depending on that frequency is the energy that you're going to draw to you.
Absolutely.
So take it like, okay, you want to run the streets, you want to be a drug dealer. Great.
Right.
Okay, so you understand consequences. Whatever those consequences are, you're willing to do.
Right.
Don't cry when you go to the stand and you get caught up in all that other stuff, because that's what you was thinking.
That's right.
I make this quick money, I do what I want to do.
That's right.
And then you end up in this whole nother situation. And when you're in that situation, then it's like, damn, what happened to me? You happened to you.
You happened to you.
You
happened to you. And it's so crazy to me that nowadays, nobody wants accountability.
No.
Nobody wants accountability. Everybody wants respectability, but nobody wants accountability. Everybody wants to be above bar in the area of respect, but nobody wants to be above bar in the area of character.
Absolutely.
They just want to do what they want to do, and want everybody to go ahead and accept it and welcome it. Like, you know, it's like I tell my son. It's like I tell my son. So that's like I was saying, like, you know, I'll be telling my sons, you know, be aware of yourself, and always make sure that anything that you accumulate knowledge-wise, you remember that you can be informational or you can be knowledgeable. The difference is knowledge without application is only information.
Exactly.
So if all you have become is well informed, you're not really knowledgeable. because until you start applying this information that you have, you don't know if it works or not.
Exactly.
Not knowledge is knowing that it works.
But that breaks into what wisdom is.
Right.
Wisdom is experience.
Right.
Either you have to experience,
right,
or I'm talking to you, right?
Right.
You get this? I'm talking to you, and you had the experience of something, and you tell me,
right,
and I learn off of you what
right,
that experience is from, which I took in because I put it as a seed in my
right,
brain, as we were talking earlier.
Right.
We took that seed and we break out the seed and we say, okay, now I hear what you said. I learned from that experience.
Right.
Now that I learned from that experience, or I went through that experience, now we can get to the next chapter of the wisdom. You can't give wisdom without experiencing. Absolutely. Or listening to somebody else's experience.
Absolutely.
You can't talk about buying houses and you ain't never bought a house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's not your forte. You can't talk about running a business if you never owned a business.
Right.
You know, you can learn.
Now you can learn. See, and that's the thing. Your learning curve determines how much experience you're allowed to have.
Right.
If you can learn, if you're a teachable person, you know, they say you got to have a teachable spirit. If you got a teachable spirit, you can learn anything.
Absolutely.
The only limitations you may have in the things that you learn is your physical ability to get it done. So, say you want to learn how to backflip, but you're missing a leg. You can still learn how to backflip. It's all about how you conceive the limitation of that missing leg. But if you conceive that this leg is as strong as anybody's two, you can still learn how to flip.
Absolutely.
So you know, and so in gathering your perspective on self-awareness, I'll say this too. How do you feel about our recent loss? A great contribution to our culture and our society at large, Chadwick Boseman. How do you feel? Like, what do you feel about that particular loss, and what would you say about him in your own personal opinion?
From what I know about him, he's a very good man. Yes, a thing like how we're saying about with like awareness, you gotta understand, like, he wasn't telling the public, he didn't go public and say, I got colon cancer.
No.
He had colon cancer for
years.
Many years. Yeah. And these last 4 years, it's been bothering him a lot.
Right.
You know, so you don't know what that next person is going through, because they could be fighting a battle that they can't speak about.
When he passed away, I just found out that the brother was in his 40s.
Yeah.
And he looked so good up to the point of him
He's 43, right?
Yeah.
That's my age.
And up to the point of him actually up to the point of the suffering actually getting to him physically. He looked so good, you could have never put him out of his late 20s.
What you could see is that he cared
He cared about
people.
He cared about people extremely.
Yeah, he cared about people.
One of the things that I loved about the brother is that in the midst of his battle with cancer, he was visiting children with cancer. And one particular video I remember is where this kid was battling cancer, and he was in the midst of his chemo trials, and it was a hard fight for him, but all he wanted to do was meet the Black Panther. And Chadwick Boseman called him personally, FaceTime with this kid.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Because there are so many celebrities who don't even have the wherewithal to be down to earth enough to care about the little people.
The little people.
And not only did he care about the little people, but he literally cared about the little people. He's visiting children all over the world and giving to funds and giving of his funds and things to help their illness and stuff like that while he was in the midst of battling his own illness. And what I do also commend the brother about is his, everybody says he should have told somebody what he was dealing with, but for what? Here's what was so disgusting to me.
Sorry for you.
Because the moment they found out the man was sick, well, when he started going live toward the end of his battle and trying to, share wisdom and knowledge with people and things like that, people were clowning this man and talking about he was on drugs because of the significant weight loss and stuff.
Yeah.
And he had to take some of the lines down because the comments were so vicious.
You don't know.
You don't know what nobody's going through.
Right.
You don't know what nobody's going through. And that again goes back to self-awareness. It's easy to accumulate information and think that you have a great synopsis about who somebody was.
But you don't.
But you don't.
That soul is so much more than you knowing on earth. That soul is so much greater than your knowing on earth. Now, there's some bad souls out there too. Yeah. But you gotta understand, like, you have no reason to judge anybody for who they are or what they're going through. Any of that. You have no business judging the next person because their journey is different from your journey. And your journey, you might be going in this direction, but their journey, because of how they got it set up in their soul and how it's on a different plane, they're going in this direction.
Right.
So it's just like, all right, which direction?
Eventually, you all will meet at the same point.
Right.
Or you won't. But the goal of this reality is to gain as much sobriety of spirit as you can in this life.
And you gotta help, on your journey. Don't be afraid to throw out some of the knowledge and wisdom to the next person who might not know.
Right.
Because they might not get it that very second, but you plant seeds, so maybe a month down the line it might be a year.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Let me ask you this. How would you share knowledge? Okay, so say you wanted to educate me on principles of business and I'm out there claiming to know about business, or you see me out there trying to operate in business, but I'm not quite operating in business correctly. How would you pull my coattail on operating in business? Like, and I'm using it. I'm doing this for a purpose. So I want to, instead of using a spiritual perspective or a consciousness.
Mentally, I would take the knowledge that I have,
okay,
and I would ask you a couple of questions to see what you know about business,
mm-hmm,
or how you were going about it.
Okay.
And I would give you some advice,
okay,
what I've known, what I've seen, and tell you to go look it up yourself.
Okay.
Because you need to do the research so you can understand it even more. Not just hearing what somebody just told you. Because what happens is when you pick up that knowledge in that book that somebody just told you you should look into this. Now, here's the thing. This is the special part about life. You pick up that book, same book he picked up,
mm-hmm,
and I could be reading, and one word can send me on a whole nother journey on some stuff that I needed in my life.
Right.
Because he led me in the right direction, and there's a certain wording that was put in there that made me think,
that resonated with your soul.
wow.
That resonated with
this
your
is
soul.
what I needed.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about life overall. It's like you don't know on that journey which direction you're going until you arrive at that moment.
Okay.
And then from that moment, you take that in and you say, this is where I want to go, or this is where I want to be, or this is the vision that I have from what I have learned.
Right. A couple of years back, I denounced religion.
Me too.
I didn't denounce spirituality,
but religion.
But I denounced religion.
I did the same thing.
And
I did the same thing.
It shook the foundation of a few people who felt like
family.
Yeah.
A lot of family.
And they felt like I should have stayed in this certain vein. But when you become aware of your true roots and realize who you really are and who you are really chasing after, you start realizing the authenticity of that relationship has to be. You have to be authentic. Now, I'm going to say this. I have had pastor friends who have said, Prophecy, you spread a lot of knowledge, but you also cuss and things. I said, does it disturb your ears? And they say, well, I like the knowledge that you're sharing, but I don't like the cussing. I said, well, then you have the option of turning it off. I said, well, here's the thing. I said, who gave definition to language? And he said, God did. I said, no, he didn't. I said, God gave language. Who gave definition to language? Man did. I said, how do you know? I said, because shit is translated from the word shite, which is a German word, which means literally fecal matter.
Yeah.
Bitch is a female dog. Damn is something that a beaver builds. Hell is an actual place. Mother is a guy who actually likes to go around in mothers.
Right.
So we have this issue about language, right? That we choose to abort messages that can really be helpful to us because we don't like the way the messenger is delivering it. But you gotta know the people you're talking to.
But another thing, when you talking religion and you denounce it, and I'm on that same level.
Yeah.
I feel I'm more spiritual than anything.
Absolutely.
I tell people, you can pick up a Bible, you can pick up a Quran, you can read into Buddhism, Judaism, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter what book you pick up, there's something in there that's going to resonate with you.
Something in there.
As a person, it's going to resonate with you. It doesn't matter what religion it is.
Reason why I study all of them. Because the thing is, let me just say this for those of you out there who are devout Christians. I'm just going to come from the perspective of what I once understood to be my faith, right? The reason why I no longer adhere to the title Christian or even to the religion Christianity is because, first off, Yeshua, the Christ, he never sanctioned the word Christian. Christian was a word given to the disciples by way of the Roman soldiers who were actually using it as a derogatory term and trying to put down the disciples of Christ and trying to get them discovered, because when they were all scattered and the Roman soldiers came out to see them and heard them speaking, they said, oh, those are those Christians, meaning they're like that Christ guy, quote unquote, right? But here's the reality. If Christ was who he was and is who he is, and is God incarnate, God embodiment, we are nothing like him. Not one person on this planet would give their entire life
for everybody.
For everybody. Because you're going to pick and choose who you would die for.
Right.
He died for the entire world. If this is the story that you believe, he died for the entire world. So which one of you who claim to be Christ-like can really claim that claim? To me, that's actually blasphemous, because how can you claim to be Christ-like as flawed as you are,
sin,
and as hateful as you are,
I'm
in your deeds?
Sins. How can somebody die for everybody? This is my question in life. How can somebody die for everybody but still have sins? If he died for your sins, why you got sins now?
So here's the thing. So and that's a beautiful question. So here's the thing. What I try to get people to understand is, and this is we're not gonna get too deep in this conversation because this is another.
It's touchy.
This is another.
For a lot of people.
It's for another segment. We are going to get into it, but it's for another segment. What I'm going to say is, this is another part of self-awareness. This is why I'm bringing it up. What made me know that I was not Christ-like is when I became self-aware. When I started realizing how different my character was from Christ's character, I stopped giving myself that badge of honor.
Right.
We do aspire to be like him, but we will never reach that plane in this physical structure because it's wrapped in a sin shell. The pleasures of life and all of the immoralities that we are endowed with, we cannot escape.
And
even though
he couldn't have possibly been perfect either. They hung him on a cross.
Well, see, now let me give you the semantics of that.
Okay.
Because I made this plain to a Muslim friend of mine. I said,
I
said this. So I guess we're gonna get into it a little bit.
Just a little.
I said, we all believe that our higher power, our Creator, is all powerful. Mm-hmm. That has to be true because look at what He created.
Everything.
Look at just look at the earth itself, right? And this is for even my atheist friends, because I love y'all too. But look at just how the planet is in space in a position that it keeps continuing to rotate in, but never leaving that position, while other asteroids, broken planets, and all type of destroyed stars are floating past it in this space with no gravity holding it down, right? That right there is intelligent design. That right there is a power that cannot be refuted, right? So if this being is all powerful and he created the very flesh suit that we're wearing, and we know that this is a suit because you are a spirit, you possess a soul, you live in a body. All right, so we know that this is just a suit, right? If the creator of all this is all powerful, that means he's visited his creation multiple times. He may have come as Buddha. I believe he came as Melchizedek. I believe he came as Farquhar Muhammad. I believe he may have even come to Moses as the angel of the Lord on the mount of Sinai.
I think he was a prophet.
So listen, but he is all of that, because what is prophet? A seer of God. Well, if he's God, no matter what suit he puts on, he remains to be God. He remains to be the ultimate seer, because he is the beginning and the end. And here's the reality. He already has written the story and he knows what the ending is going to be. So here's the thing. To come into the world, I look at it like this. This is what helps me to not refute the possibility of God coming, wrapping himself up in an earth suit and becoming the Son of God to give his life for the Son of God. So I say that like this for a reason. If you look in Luke chapter 3, the genealogy of Christ, and go down to verse 39, it says, and the son of Seth, and the son of Adam, and Adam, the son of God. I once asked a pastor, who is actually designated the Son of God in your Bible? And he was like, Christ. I said, is he the original Son of God? He said, absolutely. I said, no, he's not.
How would you know
I said, if you haven't been willing to study long enough to find this out, or to open up your mind enough to see it, you'll walk right past it. You'll see it and never care to even acknowledge it. I said, but this genealogy describes it. Adam, the first man, was the only one ever created by the hands of God, literally dug dirt, clay, and formed this body and made it into a living soul by breathing the breath of life into it. So if that be the case, what did he do? How do you know that Adam was the true first man? This is how you know. What is at the core of every cell that you have in your body?
It's an atom.
It's an atom. So what is it that gives you a definition of what Adam really is? Well, you look in Genesis, the 5th chapter, and it says, and these are the genealogies and these are the generations of Adam. In the beginning, God created him, male and female created he them. And watch this, it says, created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. When you go into the Hebrew and the Greek definitions, you find that the word Adam literally means mankind.
And you gotta understand generation.
Okay, so if it literally means mankind, here's what happened. The Father, the Creator, decided already a third of my children have rebelled against me here in the spirit realm. I can't send nobody from heaven to fix my children. So what I will do is I'll go myself. Except in order for me to obey the laws of time, I'm going to have to do more than just come and visit. I'm going to have to be born into this world as a man. But here's what people don't understand. The reason why it had to be an immaculate birth, the reason why it had to be chosen from a pure womb, is because it had to be the same Mother Earth that it was in the beginning when he created Adam. And he went to Mother Earth, Moriah, which they call Mary, Mother Earth, and he asked her, can I borrow an earth suit? And once he borrowed that earth suit and put that earth suit together in her womb, he put on that earth suit and henceforth became what? Adam. Adam who? Son of God. So how did the Father become the Son? The Father put on the Son. And the very thing that was destroyed in the garden.
I never thought about it that way.
Because we've treated it like a religious book instead of a book of history. And we've treated God's power with our finite understanding instead of his infinite power.
That's an interesting concept.
So let me take it a step further and say it like this. The thing that happened in the garden, Psalms 82 says, God standeth in the congregation of the mighty, he judgeth among the gods, right?
Y'all hearing this, right?
Well, how can he judge amongst something that we've learned to be false? We learned that the word gods is false gods. We've learned that gods don't exist.
Right.
But that's not true. Psalms 82 says, God standeth in the congregation of the mighty, he judgeth amongst the gods, right? Psalms 82 verse 6 says, and I have said that ye are gods, for all of you are children of the Most High. The lowercase g signifies mighty ones. The capital G signifies almighty ones. So let me get this part, and I know you're going to elaborate, and I appreciate it, but let me get this part. Okay. Once you understand that we are what he is, but we are the fallen version of that, and you stop fighting with his ability to put on what we are here.
On the suit.
He put on a suit.
And see, the thing is, the all. That means God is in all of us, and we're all connected.
All connected.
So we're all connected. You might have this deficiency over here, and you might have this deficiency over here, but we're all connected as one.
As one.
They say the all one.
The all one. So here's the
God
thing.
is in
everything
and everybody. So
everybody.
When he touched on talking about the gods, that's because those men were godlike in their own. And we said you can't be really godlike like that, but you can. It's on a smaller version.
It's on a smaller scale. And the reason why I said I stopped adhering to the title Christian and even the religion of Christianity, because Christ called it the way, which meant it's just a way of life. When the Sadducees and the Pharisees came to stone Christ, he asked them, why do you wish to stone me? They said, because you being a man maketh yourself God. He didn't deny that. His response was, but didn't I say? Now this is, he's quoting Old Testament, but he said, didn't I say that ye are gods? For all of you are children of the Most High? So why do you pick up a stone to stone me when I said that ye are gods? So if you can be a God, why can't I, the creator, come and wrap myself up in the earth suit and be a man? So you mean to tell me what I created is more powerful than me? You can embody my spirit, but I can't wear your flesh? So here's the thing. When I think of the almighty power of God, when I think of him being all powerful, I don't put a limitation on that. That's the reason why I can say Allah is God and be all right with that, because he said himself that it's just God in Arabic. Literally, the word Allah means God in Arabic.
That's what I was explaining.
But the reality is this: because I don't put limitations on his power, my belief in his power is limitless, and therefore I can see the beauty in how he's visited his creation time and time again. And when he finally made the decision to become like his creation, to become weak enough to die. This is what made me impressed with him as our Father. Because I look at it like this. He had to literally put on death. And how do you know he put on death? Because we took off life. How do you know we took off life? We stopped being 100%. How do you know? Now I'm going to get scientific on you. It is proven that we fell from something by the fact that we only use 3 to 10% of our minds. Where's the other 90%? The other 90% is locked up in your ability to connect to your creator. If you can't connect to the source that gave you the other 90%, that made you immortal, that made you able to escape death, then you can't ever understand the ability to sustain eternal life. So in this life, it's all about learning how to return back to our godhood.
If you notice on my car, my license plate says the all one. Because of the connection in life and how everyone's connected. So I got that license plate personally because that's when I found out that no matter what, we're all connected in what we do in life. And we're all on different planes. Like, you may be 2 planes higher than me, And I may be going through a certain thing, and in order for me to unlock the next plane, I have to do certain things in my life to get to that next plane. It might be where I might be one of those people who want to judge people all the time. Well, that's your test in life. It might be your test
to learn how to not judge.
Not to judge people.
To learn how to not judge.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing about judging people. If I punch him in the jaw right now, you're not judging me if you say, wow, Prophecy just punched that dude in the jaw. You're telling the truth.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Judging me is when you get, judging me or him is when you get a view from a distance and you see us tussling around, you don't know that we playing.
Right.
But you automatically, you put a post up that these two men are violent, not knowing that these two men are the best of friends. These two men are violent.
Or
they're no good.
Or you don't know what was going on the moment before that and what was said in the conversation. If we weren't friends, you wouldn't know exactly who that person is and what happened to occur before you got on that. Oh, I seen it on camera. Look, these guys are violent. They're animals,
man.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because the whole purpose of me pointing out God's infinite power and connecting it to man's fallen state is that self-awareness. Once you become aware of your true self is a God. How do you know you're a God? If we are the children of God, if we are God's children, he doesn't even claim us as just his creation. He claims us as his children. Now, if we are his children, when a bear gives birth, what comes out of him? A lion or a bear? A lion, a bear. I mean, when a bear gives birth, it's not a lion that he gave birth to, it's a bear. If we are then the children of God, did he give birth to humans or gods? He gave birth to gods. We denounced our godhood by accepting a knowledge that wasn't our own. Accepting a knowledge that wasn't even for us.
The human.
So, in doing so, we denounced our immortality. He came to restore our immortality. In restoring our immortality, he has to let us shed this cocoon, because this cocoon is tainted. What was once covered in light, the reason why Adam and Eve didn't know they were naked is because they were light beings. The same vision that you get when people show aliens coming and they were enclosed in light. That's what we were. We were light beings. We didn't know nakedness because we didn't see flesh. We saw light. But that light went dim once we decided to question the source of that light. Once we decided to doubt the source of that light. Not question, because he can handle questions. Once we decided to doubt the source of that light, we lost the ability to be connected to the light. So the reconnection to that light first comes in self-awareness and you knowing that you're in a fallen state. And once you realize you're in a fallen state,
you gotta balance it.
Come on.
Because you can't have light without dark. Dark is gonna be there. You're gonna have you gotta have positive energy, but there's negative energy.
And you gotta know how to balance your positive energy in order to counter your negative energy, because you are made of both.
And you gotta recognize when it happens, you gotta recognize it and think of, instead of, this is what I see a lot of people doing. They worry about the problem. It's not the problem, it's the solution. You got those seeds that you're planting, so you're planting them, and you gotta understand, like, all right, I got this negative energy, things aren't going right in my life. What is the solution? How do I move on to get to the next step so I can go into the next chapter of my book? Right. You know, if you sit there and you think about it so much, you think about the problem, that's where your depression jumps in.
Oh my God.
That's where all your anxiety, all the things that you're having inside, like, I can't handle, why is this happening to me? Why? Well, you have to understand that there's a solution to every problem. When you go to school, they don't teach you about real math, but they do teach you this. When you go to school and you start learning, they say, okay, here's a problem. This is an addition problem. Fix that. So you go and you put 2 plus 2 is 4.
You dissect it.
When you're done with the 2 plus 2 is 4, then they say, hey, here goes another problem. See if you can solve this one. And that's the same thing with life.
That's life.
They're going to give you more problems. You got to figure out the one problem, and then the next problem comes, because you're going to have another problem.
You're going to have another problem.
You got to think of that next solution. That's an ever-going thing. There's no way to escape it. You're always going to have something else that you have to figure out. But you have to come up with the solution. You cannot sit there and dwell on the same problem all day. What's the solution to that problem? You can try to run from your problems, but guess what? They're still going to sit there. They're going to sit there. So let's go into this, like the debt. Say that you're in debt. Okay. You kindle in the mind. You're saying that you're in debt. You accepted it at debt. So guess what? More debt is coming to you, because you already told yourself that I'm in debt. Instead of saying I have occurred, and I'm going to take care of these in the next couple of months, and I'll make sure that this is good.
And what you profess and confess is what you manifest. If you keep confessing and professing that you are debt free, when you're in debt, you're going to do everything in your power to become debt free, because you're manifesting the power of that confidence.
You have to believe. Even if you don't have it, you have to believe you already have it. I tell that to people when they be gambling. I hope I win. I hope that those are words.
When you hope.
Those are words that you need to take out of your vocabulary. Hopes and wish, and you know what I mean. All of those words are going to.
If you don't believe or know, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah. You have to believe and you have to know. If you don't believe and know, it's not gonna happen. But let me say this in closing, because we're gonna wrap it up here. And we'll be having Mr. Sigman back for sure. But in closing, how would you apply self-awareness to what is going on in society today, with All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, all of these matterings that we know in all actuality don't matter?
Listen, it's all about equality, because you are no better than the next person. Human, spiritual, you're no better than that next person standing next to you. You are not entitled to nothing. Shit, nothing. You're not entitled to anything. All you're entitled to is your life.
Yeah, that's what I was
going to say. Your life and your journey.
Yes. Did you hear what he said?
Your life and your journey.
Did you hear what he said? So when you say to a person who's saying, Black Lives Matter on the behalf of trying to end police brutality and systemic racism, and you say to them, get over it, you can't tell them to get over it, because they are entitled to their life. If their life is in danger of being taken from them,
then they gotta speak.
They gotta speak.
But here's the thing.
But there's a balance to even that.
This is where it gets crossed, because knowing that, you get the knowledge and you understand that situation. Everybody has these perceptions of what they believe in. A racist is going to say, they're going to side with, well, that person is this and that person is that all the time.
They're going to look for the bad in the victim.
They're going to look for always the bad. But if you took the second to listen, and then if you don't agree after the listening, and you gave your perspective of the situation, that's more respectable than just pointing the finger at somebody and say
they was wrong in the first place. Now, what I will say is this: if you're a humanitarian, that's not going to be hard for you.
No.
Because that's really the All Lives Matter brand. Being a humanitarian is what makes you able to prove that all lives matter.
I like the word all lives matter, but what I don't like about it is it's a combat.
I like it as a sentiment.
I don't like it when it's a combat to Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Somebody say Black Lives Matter.
All lives matter. Because my question to the All Lives Matter movement was, what if all lives matter?
Then why you mad at that?
Exactly, because that's a part of the all
statement.
So here's the thing.
Why you mad at that?
I said, why don't you get out here I said, if anybody from the All Lives Matter movement wants to create signs and things like that, I'll do the signs with you that say All Lives Matter, and let's get out here and get justice for all lives. Let's get justice for those children that are missing in those cages. Let's get justice for these indigenous people that are fighting for their reservation land.
Equality over racism.
Come on.
Humanity at the top.
Humanity.
We got to look at humanity. We killing trees. We killing animals to eat them.
Come on.
And I've indulged myself, you know. I'm not gonna sit here and say no. Absolutely. I'm a perfect person, but you got to think of all the things that we do with humanity, and then we think we're entitled to something. You're killing animals. You don't know this animal might be on a higher plane than you.
Right.
Human might be the lowest.
Come on. We don't know.
Of the plane. We don't know.
We don't know.
That might be the guys that we're supposed to be looking up to.
We know what we're informed about, but we don't know what the end result of all this is. And that's just facts. So, all right, y'all. This has been a great session. We will return. This is the All Too Real Life, where we will discuss any and everything that is real to life. But we do it in love. We do it agreeably. Even if we disagree, we're going to disagree agreeably. And although we don't have to accept what everybody says, we have to respect what everybody says.
And we have to listen. That's the main thing about life is when we're talking, you have to listen to other people and then make your perception and then give your side of it, because I might be missing something that you got that I might not know.
All right,
you know, but you can't go with that. You gotta be able to listen, open up your ears, and love one each other, because the actual thing of it all is love. Love comes in everything, every layer that you lay it in. You must find love of everything.
And that'll make you truly self-aware.
Yeah.